Hi everyone, this is Bismi Balati on 88.9 WinFM special show called Dominus Nisi. Today I am actually going to talk about one human family. I'm so excited and blessed to have an opportunity to share this topic to a great community even and bunch of good people who really want to talk and start these dialogues to bridge the gaps in our world as a family and having all these troubles around all different places with war and all different issues happening. And we know that whatever happening in this world is because of the lack of the peace, joy, and love. And that's what we are trying to achieve through having different conversations in the small groups and sharing that ripple effect to the world wide. So let me talk about this one, our shared human existence. Our human existence is actually depending or based on the truth that we have very one heart. And if you look at the whole religion, the faith is a great way that we can connect the people. And on this specific time, I'm thinking about Abrahamic faith. And we know that the heart of Abrahamic faith is nothing other than love, the true sacrificial love. And let's see how this Abrahamic faith can be a true way to build the gaps and start the conversations on the issues happening in this world. Yes, so when we start the conversation, we always need to acknowledge your own God that helped you to come on this earth and helping to stay and share this wonderful topic. So, when I do my presentations for Australian audience, we always acknowledge God first and then we acknowledge our country, the First Nation people who are helping us to stay in this country and welcoming us and spreading their land for us to live and then enjoy this beautiful land. So I pay respect to past, present, and emerging First Nation leaders and all the people who hearing this story of Abrahamic faith and one human family. And I always mention when I talk about faith, spirituality, I am a little child in that big ocean of all these big topic. I'm not a theologian. I am not a spiritual leader. I'm actually looking at this topic with an eager and curiosity and a learner's mindset because I'm learning more and more about spirituality and theology, and I am practicing whatever I learn in my real life. And this is more of like a real layperson's mindset, and then talking through that lens as a normal learned person. So, what is this Abrahamic faith? What are the religions under this faith? And you may already know that Abrahamic faith is the faith that people who believe in one Lord, the monotheistic. So there is no many gods, but who only one God who created this whole earth, the one Lord who look after you, the one Lord who will come back and then make you a better version of yourself. So if you believe in that one God, the mother, so I would love to share the analogy of an eagle. So I would say if you feel that God is our mother eagle, then you can say that you believe in Abrahamic faith because there is only one figure who look after the whole humanity with creation, looking after the nurturing and then take care of everything from a motherly heart. And then you know that if it is an eagle, how they look after everything, how vigilant they are, how strong they are in their skill set. And that's what I pick up. That's an analogy. If you believe that God is your mother eagle, you are under Abrahamic faith. And think your religion is under that. So the major religion on this earth is Judaism and Muslims and the Christians. So those are the three big religious people who believe that God is only one person of one God who created this whole world and looking after that. If you look at the timeline of this Abrahamic faith, it will go back to 1600 BCE, where the Jewish people started to think about the gods, and it is more of like in a polytheism at that time. But coming back from 1400 BCE to 600 BCE, there were prophets and people were talking about monotheism, and especially the main person was Prophet Isaiah. Prophet Isaiah clearly mentioning that the first and the last, I am the first, I am the Alpha, I am the Omega. So from 600 BCE, from Prophet Isaiah's conversation to the Israelites, they were believing in one God. And we know that the birth of Jesus Christ, we celebrate as Christmas, and then we know that 33 years of his life and what happened on Good Friday and Easter Sunday, and then we know that Pentecost Sunday, that's the Christian church was born, and then we are going to celebrate that next week. So that's where the Christianity starts. So they were Jewish people. They totally believe in all Torah and all other books, that the laws from Moses, they do totally believe in. But the people who believe in God, in Jesus's miraculous resurrection and then teaching of Jesus, that's where they divided into two. So the Jewish people stay there, and then the wing of people who believed in Jesus Christ moved into Christianity. So there were Judaism and then Christianity. So where is this Islamic people coming from? Yeah, so going back to the genealogy of Genesis, like these three religions believe in Genesis. God created the heavens and earth. The first parents are Adam and Eve. So Judaism, Islam, and Christians, they totally believe in that narrative. But if you know the story of Abraham, yes, Father Abraham, the father of faith, the father of nation, the father who sacrificed his own son. Yes, there are many different titles for him, but we know that God gave a prophecy that he will become the father of nations. But Sarah, the wife of Abraham, was barren, and then she gave an advice to go to Hagar to get a son. And that's how Hagar get pregnant and got a boy, and his name is Ishmael. And Ishmael, when Ishmael got born and Hagar was looking after them, things were going okay. But then what happened? Yes, Sarah also got pregnant according to the covenant. And then he got Isaac became the first son from Sarah, the only son. And that time, Sarah really got jealous and upset with Hagar, and she wanted her to go out of Abraham's life. But Abraham was in dilemma because Ishmael and Isaac, they both Abraham's, yeah, own son from his own blood. But what he did, he deserted. Yes, Hagar and Ishmael. But the God, the Father, was very, yes, compassionate and then very powerful at that time to Hagar as well. He so Hagar and Ishmael was suffering in the desert with no real reason, because it was not Hagar's own decision to go to Abraham. It was Sarah who pushed Hagar and go to Abraham. So I would say Hagar is innocent in this act. And God was compassionate, and God gave a covenant to Ishmael and Hagar that he will rise this as a big nation, Ishmael as a big nation. And that's how Hagar and son Ishmael became the Arab people, because they deserted into from Abraham, and they became the Arab people. And then we know the story in around 600 AD, 610 AD. We had different prophets, and Muhammad was a prophet who talked to Gabriel and had a vision in a cave and then got many different visions and he wrote. And we know that Muhammad was not really a literate person, but he got everything from Gabriel and then he put that vision, and that's how Quran came up. And then whoever believed in Muhammad's teaching became Islam. So if you look at the genealogy, the father is great father, the Abraham, and then we divided into three different, yeah, I would say three different families, but we are from one family. So that's the narrative of the real Abrahamic faith, have shared responsibilities and shared foundation. So the shared responsibility is to keep that peace within the family and adore and worship our God the Father and believe that the God is the reason for the creation and then creation is with a purpose. So we have shared foundation and shared responsibility. And what happened then? And if you look at Quran, the holy book of Muslims, and Torah, the first law commandments of Jewish people, and the Holy Bible, we can see a common golden rule, and that's the real rule that we all have to do and look after within our life and our community life. The golden rule is nothing other than love your neighbor as yourself. That's what the tagline I am picking up today for our conversation. Love your neighbor as yourself. And if you look at Holy Bible, Mark 12, chapter 12, 29 to 31, it's talking about it. If you look at Torah, Leviticus 19 and verse 18, it's talking about, in Quran, Surah 436 also talking about the same thing. And then we know that in today's world, there is always a big conversation about self love. And where is that self love coming from? I would say it is hidden in this one golden rule. The golden rule is nothing other than love your neighbor as you yourself. So if you are not loving yourself, you can't really love your neighbor as yourself. So the hidden rule in that golden rule is love yourself. And that's where all the things coming up, give priorities to you, your emotional needs, your thought process, your worship time, your connection time to your creator. And that's how you identified what is the purpose of your life, who you are, why you are in this life, and what is the pledge that you can do in this world to spread love, joy, and peace. The golden rule number one, love yourself. And golden rule number two, yes, love your neighbors as yourself. If you practice that golden rule, there is no war here, there is no problems because everybody loving each other, we become a human family, a global family. So if you look at the Abrahamic faith, and I'm going to United Arab Emirates, the country is actually dedicating a vast space to show this powerful golden rule through Abrahamic family house. In Abu Dhabi, they have a big area with three different worshipping places, a mosque and synagogue and a church, and then it is welcomed by all different visitors. And I do remember Pope Francis was there and signing that Abrahamic family house contract, spreading love, joy, and peace, and welcoming this family, and then believing to open up your mindset to this big family of spreading love, joy, and peace. So if you are planning to visit Abu Dhabi, I encourage you to have a go and experience that power of Abrahamic faith that is there and in real spirit. And as a person, as a little girl, grew up in India, I always think that religion is not really the core of your life. It's more of that it's unity in that diversity. I grew up with a different Muslim and Christian and Hindu friend circle, and then we close to the church. We always go to church. Hindu friends go to temples, and Muslim friends goes to their mosque and prayer services. And we never felt that we are different. We just feel that love and unity in our own life. Do you remember that the great philosopher in from India, especially from that small state called Kerala, Swami Vivekananda, always talk about Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. Yes, that's the world is one family. So that was one of the great talk or the concept that we used to learn in our school time, that we are one family. We enjoy the diversity, but at the same time, we are united in that diversity. And if you look at the colorful colors of Indian culture, even though we are many, we are in one. So we are all human. We are breathing the same air and taking it out and taking it out. And we stop when we stop breathing. So we are having something common. That's what I take as a girl. Grew up in an old small village and coming to Australia. Here, it's a multicultural country where we enjoy and welcome the diverse range of cultural taste and cultural people, and that's how this country became the multicultural country. And what is the faith here? What is happening with the religion here? Are we okay to talk about your religion in your secular life, in your office, or in your parties? What is happening in this multicultural community? We know that there is a community spirit in Australia. There is a resilience, there is a spiritual curiosity, and there is a respect to indigenous people. There is a non-traditional spirituality and individual spirituality, and at the same time we have a bit of like a trust issues to the organizations, like all different organizations, Christianities or whatever the organization is making something good as part of their organization. There is a bit of like a lack of trust issue, and I can see a bit of like influence of occult practices in Australia as well. So what can we do as a people who bridge this gap of having all these conversations and lacking peace? That's where we need to think about what exactly the value of Australia. We know that Australia is a wounded country from the day when this colonization happened here. We did hurt the core people of this country. We did hurt the Australian First Nation people. The separation of those kids happened in that stolen generation. It's a big wound. And if you think about the people who came into Australia as convict, they were also having wounds, and they were having the mindset of leaving their country sometimes just for stealing a piece of bread to because of the starvation. They had to lose their country and had to come over here where they can't even find out the language of people. And then, if you look at the asylum seekers and refugees and migrants coming to this country for the betterment of their life, they carry a baggage of their uncertainties, their issues, their worries, their anxieties. This country is already wounded, but they're coming with all his baggage. And what will happen to that spirit in this country? Yeah, they may have lots of anxiety. Their self is becoming too much into that experiences, that determinations, or all different things happening in this country. So I would say if you are in Australia, you will be influenced with that spirit of this anxiety, worry, woundedness, everything. And that's where the spirit of love, spirit of joy, and spirit of that peace should go, and then heal them through maybe through a simple smile, a conversation, or making a dialogue of accepting them. So as a person, as an Australian here in Australia for 25 years, and through my personal experience, what I made promise to myself, I know that I can't change the whole world, but I can change myself. Only I can change myself. So I made a pledge to myself that as much as I can, I will share the spirit of love, joy, and peace to the people around me. That's my big world. It may be one or two people, or it may be people like you hearing me through the podcast or through the radio. But I did three pledge. I will always reflect personally what I'm doing is intentional and not impacting other people' peace and mindset. That's the one pledge I have done, which is working well. It is hard to make that conscious effort not to mess up with others, not to make other people upset. The other one, I made the promise that I will involve in that interfaith conversation. I will involve in the conversation about spirituality, and especially if it is about Christianity, because I do know more about that and practices and what's the real benefit of it, because I was practicing for last 50 years. So if anything related to Christianity, I will raise my hand, I will share, and I will shout out. And I'm so happy to connect and communicate with any religion, and I know that religion is there to spread the love, joy, and peace, not to make war. And the third one, I will involve, and I would love to put my time and effort to make a vision for one family future where everyone is at peace and sharing the whole universe, abundant universe. Those are the three personal pledge that I made. And that is my new narrative of my life, spreading love, joy, and peace. And I invite you, what is your narrative as a person? If you're hearing me and if you are a person who thinking about the war zone, thinking about all the things that happening around the world and you can't really do anything, I challenge you on and invite you, make a pledge for yourself in your own life. Make a narrative of it. You can change your life. That change in your life is having a flow on effect. That impact will go to your family, your community, and your state, your country, and your world. So let's talk about love, joy, and peace. Make peace and not the war. And that's how we will end up. Ah, all the calamities, all the war, with a mission with deep listening, a mission with the right interaction, a mission with a creative expression, a mission to seek God's love, a mission to support each and everyone and accept everyone and show respect by spreading love, joy, and peace. And that's what we are going to do on this earth, praying for the peace in this whole world. We pray for a united world of brotherhood and sisterhood, and pray for the tolerance and the understanding among all people. We pray for an end to the war and alleviation of suffering, healing of sexual abuse, and to the subjugation of women and abolition of animal cruelty. We pray that humankind shall respect and honor the earth and realms of spirit and nature. We pray for a global awakening of humanity, grace for all the world, victory for the forces of light, the fulfillment of the divine plan, and acceptance that we are not perfect, but we are one human family. And this is Bismi Palati on Dominus Missy 88.9 FM, the sound of West.